We're coming, and we ain't backing down.
We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror.
Everybody just do your job. You understand that?
Hey, will you shut up?
I'm bitterly disappointed with the officiating today.
Guys being dudes.
And they run through our like through a tin horn, man.
Thank you, Lee. Alex, parity reigns, new paradigm in college football, yada yada, blah blah blah. How are you handling our new parity-driven reality?
To a degree, I'm enjoying it. I did a little thinking about this last night when I was writing my athletic column with Jason Kirk, our dear friend, off the day. There are going to be at least 6 new teams in the playoff this year who have never been in the playoff before, 12-team or 4. That was the same number as last year. There were 6. But I think it could pretty easily climb to 7 or 8 this year because of the graciousness of the Clemsons, the Penn States, perhaps soon the Texases, who knows, to just usher themselves out of the picture.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. Alex, I will say just any reports regarding the fact that we don't go over 30 minutes on the clock on any given Sunday, those reports are patently false and wildly inaccurate. Look, at the end of the day, it's the longest 30 minutes in college football podcasting, and it starts in 3, 2, 1. Memphis 34, USF 31 in the G5 Super Bowl of the week. Everybody's saying that Memphis has an inside track to the college football playoff, the G5's bid to the college football playoff. Okay, we'll see. I think we got a lot more, we got a month to figure that one out. I would not chalk Memphis up for a 12 seed just yet.
Here are my comments on Memphis and Ryan Silverfield after this game.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Of course, maybe he can keep getting away with it. Maybe I'll never be vindicated. I don't know. This was a 17 unanswered fourth quarter for Memphis in a game where they looked pretty cooked. And South Florida made more cool plays in this game. I mean, made the coolest play in this game on the quarterback run by Byron Brown. That was one of the most entertaining plays that I've seen this college football season and had me thinking Byron Brown, Heisman finalist, get this guy to New York. I'm still not completely giving up on that. But USF in the 2-minute drill after blowing the lead and going behind gets into field goal range for a 42-yard game-tying field goal, and then the right guard takes a holding penalty, which makes it 52. And then Nico Grammatica, yes, of the Grammatica kicking family, comes out and hooks it by such a distance that it definitely would have been good from 42. Painful. That's the breaks. That's why you can't take holding penalties when you're at the 28-yard line or whatever they were at.
This has sort of been USF's thing, though, this season. Not exactly clinical to run the whole table, but obviously talented enough to get away with it. Obviously they smoked North Texas in the end, but that had a weird way of getting there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, they don't dominate, yet they had, to this point, won. And so, and we're going to get to it later when we talk about this conference. Like, this thing is not decided. This is not decided yet.
No, especially because some of the teams involved in the race don't play each other. What I do feel confident about, if people are talking about Memphis having the inside track to the playoff spot, is that whoever wins this conference is going to be the G5 playoff team. The only other possibility is maybe San Diego State, which has 1 loss in the Mountain West, but it's going to be the American champ.
What about everybody taking 2 losses potentially, or having 2 losses potentially?
Well, then it can't be Boise.
There.
It can't be Boise because they got blown out by one of the contenders for this league. By this USF team that just lost to Memphis. It's not going to be Boise. It's going to be the American champ this year. I feel supremely confident about that. So maybe if you think Memphis has the inside track, but this is going to be a very entertaining last month of the season in the American, not athletic anymore, just the American, to see who gets this spot. Another team that's still alive in this, North Texas, 54, Charlotte 20. Charlotte is terrible, but UNT continues to be interesting. 608 yards for Drew Mestemaker, making his 8th career start after basically not playing quarterback in a game since his freshman year of high school, at least not as a starter. First 600-yard game in FBS in 5 years and 1 week since Dylan Gabriel for UCF in a loss to Memphis in the COVID year. 400 yards of yards after catch. Sam Kahn of The Athletic pointed that out, most in FBS in a game this year. Good scheme.
Which should really tell you something.
Good scheme.
And we've talked about Mestemaker. I think Mestemaker's really talented. But thank you, Sam, for calling a spade here on the given day.
Scheme. It means guys are open, and it does mean the quarterback puts the ball on the correct part of the body so they can run with it. But yeah, Eric Morris drawing up a nice offense for these guys this year. Navy 42, FAU 32. Blake Horvath, Richard.
Navy's real season starts now. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Navy can screw with the entire college football playoff. They play North Texas, Notre Dame, USF, and Memphis in a row. All right. They the college football playoff runs through the Naval Academy. Write it down. Book it.
Also, something that I suspect a lot of people are aware of but have forgotten, playoff comes out before the Army game. And the Army game doesn't count toward it, which is an inelegant solution to a scheduling thing that
no, it's just
they didn't want to move.
stupid. It's just stupid.
It
Rice
is what it is.
Rice 37, Rice 37, UConn 34 in overtime. Shout out to Rice for getting this one done. Comeback.
Couple good players going head to head here. Skylar Bell, UConn wide receiver, is second in FBS in receiving yards this year. 845 yards now. Had a big game here, but not as big as Quentin Jackson, toting it in the option game for Rice. $168, 3 touchdowns. Rice is 4-4. This is actually going pretty well in Scott Abel's first year. In the Southeastern Conference,
Never heard
Vanderbilt 17, Missouri 10. You want to take the Vanderbilt first?
Yeah, look, gritty, not pretty in this one. Vanderbilt found a way to get this done. The fourth down stop looms extremely large that they had. Credit to Missouri for hanging in there when they go down to QB3. Remember Sam Horn, who was actually the QB2, got hurt the first play of the season, or his first play of the season, I should say. And when Pabula goes down, they still had enough in this game. I thought Missouri on defense was really good against the run for Vanderbilt. Obviously, what Vanderbilt does is a lot of pulling linemen and stuff, but Missouri is just so physical at the point of attack, particularly taking on pullers, that you're condensing space and you're making Vanderbilt run the ball, at least in the phone booth. Obviously, they had the long run for the touchdown, but other than that, Vanderbilt didn't really do anything of note here running the ball. Pavia did enough here throwing the ball. Vanderbilt just did enough. I think if you play this game a lot of times in a row, I think Missouri, all things considered, probably comes out winning it more times than not. It's just one of those things that happens on the given day. Credit to Ahmad Hardy, though. I thought he was looking like a G5 schedule merchant for a little bit, but no, he had it in this game.
He's a great back. He's one of the great recruiting ads that any team made over the offseason.
Also, that Hail Mary was very close, but he would have been short probably, right?
Well, I don't know if you noticed this or if you tuned out. They gave him the catch. They gave him the catch at the half-yard line. Yeah, they did. Unfortunately, he was clearly short. But they gave him the catch.
I did not realize they gave him the catch after the fact. That's funny.
Yes. No, I mean, it was fair to tune out during that review because it didn't matter if you were moving to another game because he was short. But yes, he caught it. Kevin Coleman is the receiver who caught that. He has been money for Mizzou this year. Every time you watch this team, this guy is making critical catches on third or fourth down to move the sticks. And here he almost had one of the iconic plays in recent college football history, but didn't by like 0.3 of a yard. And that's the break sometimes. And that's why this is a fun sport. Mizzou is in a bad way right now. Pabula is hurt. Obviously, the Drinkwitz coaching rumor stuff is going to keep churning because they're now a pretty substantial long shot for the playoff. And they were really close to not being any of that. They were really close to Pabula being healthy and them having probably a little better than a 50-50 shot to make the playoff. This is a tough break for them.
They play A&M and Oklahoma coming home. Like, this is not happening, obviously.
At this point, it is obviously not.
Alex, this is obviously not happening.
At this point, I would agree. But had they won this game, they'd still have a little bit of cushion, room for error. Close margins, man. Close margins. You talked about the year of parity. Close margins. And this is going to be one that hurts for Mizzou for a pretty substantial amount of time. Why am I saying substantial so often on this episode? I guess the word stuck in my head. A&M 49, LSU 25.
Substantial margin of victory here.
Substantial yet again. And it was not that close. Literally, LSU had a last-minute touchdown to make it a little less embarrassing, but not really.
Fire Brian Kelly chants. Our pal Chris Vanini was on site here, said that Brian Kelly initially went into the tunnel, did not sing the alma mater with his team, but then came out to finish the alma mater. So Brian Kelly was actually booed off the field twice.
Chris is such a good reporter. What a great detail.
Mansour Delane hurt for LSU in the secondary, but that notwithstanding, the wide receivers still very much got theirs. Even though that happened, AJ Halsey's still a tremendous player for LSU. Just wanted to make that note. A&M's defense is so good. Like, so good. When you get on third down against these guys, good luck. And Cassius Howell had 2 sacks in this game that he made it like whatever tackle he was on. One was on the right side, one was on the left, I think. He made it look like the tackle that he was on just like literally wasn't there.
LSU ugly scene. I think we're at the threshold of fan versus coach toxicity.
What would give you that impression?
Yeah, where you really have to think it's at least 50-50 that we're about done here with Brian Kelly. It's a lot of things, but look at the empty seats at the end of this game and look at the way that his reputation has kind of burned down. He's never been a likable guy, but how his astuteness as a program manager has been called into question here. I mean, the narrative of Tommy Moffitt, the longtime LSU strength coach, who won national championships under his 3 predecessors at LSU, not being retained by Kelly, going to Texas A&M, which then physically bullies these guys 2 years in a row, by the way. This was a rerun. It just looks bad. And that's before you get to the personality and the carpetbagger critique of Kelly. And it just looks really, really bad. The buyout is huge, but it's not doing a lump sum. And there's also an offset. So I really don't know about Brian Kelly and LSU going forward. One point on Marcel Reed.
Well, it could be a coordinator thing. I don't know.
Could.
We'll see.
Could. I think it's in that zone where I don't think you would disagree with this, where people in our industry are going to begin to take this very seriously. The possibility.
Yeah. 100%.
A good point that I thought Herbstreit made actually on the broadcast about Marcel Reed. The Lamar Jackson comp for Reed in a very targeted way actually makes a lot of sense to me. There are, of course, many quarterbacks with big arms who can run fast, and to our black, which is obviously a quarterback comparison, say what you really mean type of thing a lot of the time. But the sort of gracefulness, the gliding way
the
that Reed just like slides through people.
The body type. They're not, Lamar's not a big person.
No. He does have that look physically as he moves through the defense. And when he's not off target, he's a really dangerous quarterback.
He quite literally did the Lamar impression last night with one of his touchdown runs when he just like stops at the goal line and does like the back juke thing, and the defender trying to tackle him at the goal line just like kind of flew past him, and he just quite literally like stepped into the end zone. Sick play from a sick player. It was awesome last night.
Lamar did that in high school in Florida, and it is a highlight that has followed him around throughout his career. Alabama 29, South Carolina 22. I think Shane Beamer should take the Virginia Tech job if it's available to him, honestly.
Bama found a way here. The spread was 7-ish, I believe, in this game. This was a trap spot. Friend of the program, Matt Stahl, who's come on the show earlier. We were texting back and forth about this week, about this potentially being a trap spot. I did not think it was going to be a trap spot, but it certainly was for Alabama. I will say this. We cannot sit here and make fun of Alabama in general under Kalen DeBoer for losing this type of game and then coming with a way to win it, figuring out a way to win it, but then still make fun of them. Like, you kind of have to give credit where credit is due here for Alabama for getting over the hump here and finding a way. And it was a play at the end that it wasn't Tim Keenan who stripped the ball there at the end.
It was one of Alabama's. Was it Deontay Lawson?
Yes, I think it was. Yes, who got the strip there of Lenore Sellers?
Keenan fell on it.
Yes, thank you. You have to give credit where credit is due here for Alabama for getting this job done.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, you also can't say in one breath every game in the SEC is close now, but it's not okay to play a close game on the road in Columbia where, things can get squirrely. Have gotten
and
squirrely
that place
for a
was
lot of
insane yesterday.
Yeah.
Which it typically is when Carolina, I mean, no matter how bad Carolina is, once they get rolling. Running game, though, worried about Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
It's safe to worry about that.
And that Jen Miller did play, and it was still worrying. But for South Carolina, man, this is just really tough. I think Sellers only took 2 sacks, but you can't put the ball on the ground on that 2nd and 4 at the end of the game. You're the veteran star quarterback, very expensive quarterback. Can't do it. It's just not a thing that you can do. And this just seems like it's been one of the really great disappointing seasons that any team has had in the sport this year for the South Carolina Gamecocks. A team that was almost in that same label, same category. Texas 45, Mississippi State 38 in overtime for Mississippi State's 16th consecutive and probably most painful SEC loss.
Mississippi State is the best winless team in conference play in America. Not really kidding. I legitimately feel bad for this team that they have not been able to get over the hump here in any of these. I think they're 0-4 in the league right now. One thing I will say about the Archive, even though obviously gets the concussion at the end, we'll see about his status moving forward here going next week. But Arch played really well in the second half, I think. I mean, he threw them back into this game. And I know that he got some help from Mississippi State. And sure, there were some misses. It's still in there. But the splash plays, the big plays, the things that you want from him are also still in there. Yes, up and down player, uneven player right now. But threw them back in this game. There is no other way around it.
I mean, the deep ball to Ryan Wingo was a very high-level quarterbacking play early fourth quarter when they were down 17 that put them back in the game. That was the turning point of the game, and it was a great play. It was a play that their fourth school backup from Troy would not have made. And this was good by Arch. I hope he's okay. And I hope that it could be the start of something for him. I really do not have a lot of respect for how Jeff Lebby managed the end of this one, though. I mean, it's hard to blow a 17-point lead and not have some bone to pick with the head coach, but he tried to sit on this thing, and that wasn't happening. And particularly late, they have a 3rd and 1 on a succession of 3-and-outs late in the game, and they're sitting on no rush yards in the second half of this game. And he just tries again instead of scheming a pass to get 1 yard. And they don't get it, and they punt, and the punt gets returned for a touchdown that ties the game, and then the plot is sort of lost. You know, Lebby would probably say that we had given up a bunch of sacks after halftime already, and so I wasn't going to throw the ball. But it's 3rd and 1. Like, you get the ball out, run a pick play, make them throw the flag. Like, you're not going to get sacked on a 3rd and 1 unless your quarterback really blows it. I didn't like this at all on his part. I thought you have to coach to win the game at the end, and he didn't, and he got what he deserved. Pretty small time by Mississippi State. Also, I'm pissed about it, Richard, because it was going to be a Dadwater Home Dog of the Week triumph.
We do. Look, we don't do this via spread, the Dadwater Home Dog of the Week, but let me tell you something. We're rolling.
Well, we don't do it via spread, right? I mean, this is not a tout show. We just try to pick winners for the sake of it.
But we are touting.
If you had tailed us on spreads, we would be 8-0 picking
just
home
saying.
dogs of the week. We started in week 2 after we accidentally did the thing wrong in week 1 and picked the wrong kind of game. But Mississippi State was our Dadwater Home Dog of the Week. We're 5-3, by the way, straight up, which is fine.
But again, it's just putting the record for the record. Just to be clear.
We pick games that we believe in.
Just to be transparent with the audience. We're 5-3.
Sure.
Just to be transparent with the audience. 8-0 against the spread on these picks if you were taking them against the spread, which we are certainly not. Again, it's about transparency with the audience.
2 of the losses on the Dadwater Home Dog of the Week have been 20-0 blown lead in the second half, 17-point lead blown
the
in
process
the second half.
Has been good. Cool. Just being transparent with the audience.
Anyway, that was Mississippi State this week. This is the Sunday Hurry Up presented by Dadwater all season long. It's a tequila water with 4 natural ingredients. No sugar, no carbs, no carbonation, no gluten. But what it does have is a really enjoyable taste profile. Drink's got great taste. So does the company in its choice of podcast sponsorship partners. Thanks to Dadwater as we move forward on this Sunday Hurry Up presented by Dadwater. Ole Miss 34, Oklahoma 26. Big one for Ole Miss, Richard. I actually don't think they can fuck this up. They're going to be in the playoff.
Sure. Ole Miss I was wrong about Ole Miss's defensive physicality not being there. It certainly showed up when it needed to in this game, and I thought Trinidad Chambliss obviously good enough in this game. Missed a couple throws that you'd like to have back and could have made.
So did Austin Simmons, who just made cameo appearances.
I kind of think my personal opinion is that's kind of a don't transfer thing, but different story.
Interesting. I thought it was a Lane making it about him thing, but that's also a theory.
No, I thought, dude, I will say the 4th down in the first half when in a pissing rainstorm from the -25 or wherever that was.
And they direct snapped it.
Now they bowed up on defense and held him to 3 there, but good night.
The direct snap I think that was almost the definition of 2Q, which is an overused term, but just if you're committed to it, and I'm okay with that, if you think you got to play to get a yard, but maybe not the direct snap in the driving rain. I think that's a totally fair critique. The Ole Miss pass rush, which I talked about on the midweek, showed up in this game. Showed up in key spots for the first time all year. looked the way that it looked last year and made a massive difference in this game. And John Mateer didn't handle it very well.
I think the Mateer thing, the thing that I brought up about Oklahoma's offense, which is when it gets into conference play, and particularly when it gets in deeper into conference play, this Oklahoma offense, it's I don't know if found out's the word, because obviously it's a different offense with Arbuckle and Mateer in this year, but again, with this, where Oklahoma on offense just really does not scare you the deeper you get into conference play in the SEC.
Nope, sure doesn't. Auburn 33, Arkansas 24.
Bravo from Auburn, to be honest with you.
I had to have it kind of game, and Auburn's secondary just came through for them in this one, in my view.
Yeah, the pick, Taylon Green, had an ugly interception in this. Yeah, credit to Auburn for getting it done. Backs against the wall spot.
Auburn's going to have to figure out quarterback. Probably can't go back to Jackson Arnold, who is really just not good enough. I don't think Ashton Daniels is an answer either, and it's going to be hard for them to move the ball, but the defense stepped up, and Auburn fans deserve something good to happen after the way that the first 4 games in the SEC had gone for them. Tennessee, a lot. Kentucky, a decent amount, but fewer. Cutter Boley, 5 touchdowns in this game. That's a pulse.
Kentucky had multiple explosive plays. Well done. Michigan 31.
No. You're not gliding past this one. Did you see the play from this game? Not an explosive play?
I can't say that I had eyes on this throughout.
Kentucky had a play, nor did I, obviously. Kentucky had a play where they fumbled, let's call it 2.5 times on one play. And Tennessee wound up with the ball in the low red zone right before halftime. Yeah, it was wide receiver, fumbles. Another Kentucky player sort of gets his hands on it. You could argue he had possession. They didn't rule it to be recovered at that point. He then fumbles. And then the ball goes to another Kentucky player who absolutely gets it. He definitely fumbles. So we call it 2.5 on one play. And then Tennessee recovers. And I think Kentucky threw in a personal foul at the end of it for good measure as well. Beautiful game.
Good work all around there. Michigan 31, Michigan State 20. Nobody fought in this game. Nobody.
Where was snooping around it at the end of it? I thought we were.
Oh, was he really?
Some dumb Michigan State bullshit. Yeah.
Where is the Paul Bunyan matchup of my youth? Where has that come?
I was maybe 45% kidding about this on my Blue Sky the other night as this game was going on, but just 45%, like almost serious. Could we stop with this being an every year game? Play it every 2, like the Ryder Cup.
No. What do you mean?
Look at you defending tradition. I just find this series to be so boring.
Don't play Michigan
It's
State
just so boring. It's of all of these major rivalries, regional rivalries, it's the one that I feel like the quality of the competition is just not that compelling.
What do you mean? This is nowhere near Bedlam, God rest its soul. This is nowhere. We're going to talk about Kansas State, Kansas in this show.
You're right. We are going to talk about that. Anyway, like I said, 45% kidding, 45% serious, 10%, I don't know. I feel like I'm just waiting for some stupid fight to break out every time I watch this. But maybe Michigan State will get its house in order at some point and make this more entertaining again in the future.
It's only been 4 in a row too from Michigan. I know that it's been very embarrassing 4 in a row, but it's only been 4 in a row. Oregon 21, Wisconsin 7. Credit to Wisconsin for not being shut out 3 times in a row. They scored with I think it was 6 or 7 minutes
almost
in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, we really did almost have it here. Oregon, dude, Dan Lanning, God, what a man. Onside to start the game. Fake punt with 4 minutes to go. Up 14, where Wisconsin is never winning. It's a driving rainstorm. It converted, but it got called back, I think, for holding. The lineman had a touchdown catch in this game. All of this, again, in an absolute pissing rainstorm on Grateful Dead night. I will say this about Oregon. Well, you know what? Let's wait before I say that about Oregon. You talk about Wisconsin here.
I don't know what there is to really talk about with Wisconsin here, so I'm moving on. Nebraska 28, Northwestern 21. This one was not a good advertisement for the Big Ten. It just wasn't. Nebraska won because somebody had to, and actually remains alive in the playoff race. Dylan Raiola continues to throw interceptions that make it look like he's never played football before. It's a real problem, which is definitely going to keep them from getting everything they want to get this season. He threw a pick to a linebacker in this game that is just one of the worst of the year. but he's had a number of these. It's just the guy's standing right there. And he's standing right there. So don't throw it at him. I never played quarterback. I'm not an expert on the position.
Good coaching there. Good coaching points there.
But anyway, Iowa 41, Minnesota 3, Floyd of Rosedale stays in Iowa City. This one was so Iowa, man. They scored in all three phases. Offense, defense, special teams, touchdowns. Kirk Ferentz is getting more powerful in every way late in his career. Beth Getz forcing him to cut Brian loose was one of the great AD moves of all time. Saved him from himself. Everything is coming up him.
Shout out to Caden Wheatgen. We told you they had another one. I told you they had another one, and he delivers in this game. Punt return for the touchdown in this game. I believe it's his second special teams touchdown this season after doing so in the Rutgers game. They score in all three phases. I mean, what did Minnesota spot them like 24 points in this game before they even got off the mat? Drake Lindsay, I thought had been a little bit diminishing returns in the league in Big Ten play, but good night. The Vanderzee connection, Reese Vanderzee now is healthy. I think this is the third game he's played this season, and they got like a 30-yard touchdown catch from Gronowski to him.
Finally, a power 4 touchdown pass from Mark Gronowski had not occurred.
Kirk did mention that Mark Gronowski's best football is ahead of him. Iowa has a bye week. Oregon also has a bye week. And I'll say this about Oregon, finally. I would be careful in 2 weeks. I would be very careful
I'm glad you said that. That's probably going to be the Dabwater home dog of the week come week 11.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Mark it. I would be very careful if I was Oregon in that game.
Yep. I'm on the fence with Iowa. I think some substantial things could be possible for them.
Substantial indeed. Substantial margin of victory.
They're probably going to drop something dumb, but substantial.
Substantial victory margin here again. Indiana 56, UCLA 6. Tim Skipper is back to be. Tim Skipper was the minority coach of the week in an interesting schematic spot, which again, as I said, it's not a portender or predictor of schematic success. He's 0-2 actually. Remember, we actually forgot that he was the coach in the Northwestern game as well. Remember, he was the interim in the Northwestern game. But Jerry Neuheisel, I don't think, was the interim offensive coordinator in this game, which is obviously why they lost the Northwestern game.
Sure. So Jerry Neuheisel is unbeaten as head coach, but Tim Skipper is now 0-2.
Sure.
Hopefully Tim will be able to get it together. Indiana is just a bulldozer, man. This was over from, 50 seconds into the game when Aiden Fisher, one of the million James Madison guys on their defense, pick sixes Nico Yamaliava. They brought in the other Mendoza for a little bit at the end of this game, too. Indiana was having a lot of joy. They were having a lot of fun, as they tend to be. Indiana mention means home field mention. Connor, the founder of Home Field, texted me post-game and said to me, I pray that in your lifetime you get to experience even 75% of what these last 2 years have been. And I appreciated that gesture, like remember where you came from, which was the old Big Ten East to a Maryland alum. I don't think I'm going to get to experience that, but I appreciated the sentiment. That's the kind of guy he is, the kind of company Home Field is. You've got to check out the new varsity jacket collection, homefieldapparel.com, continuing to raise the bar in the world of college sports outerwear. Thank you to Home Field.
Washington 42, Illinois 25. Illinois overrated heading into the season. Again, now properly rated. I think we're done with the curiosity about Illinois. Okay,
they have played their way off, I believe.
Good to know.
Yep. When the Washington offense is cooking, which it is a lot of the time, basically when the line is not overwhelmed physically, it's fun, man. It's fun. Denzel Boston is not quite doing a Rome Odunze impression, but a pretty good approximation of it only a couple of years after Rome was coming through Seattle. When it's good for the Washington Huskies.
BYU 41, Iowa State 27. BYU, I don't know if gets away with it is the right word. Because, I mean, I still don't get it with Iowa State, apparently. It's obviously going to get very real for BYU with Texas Tech and Cincinnati coming up later next month, I should say. So we'll see, but they got it done here.
They did. Bear Bachmeyer, such a little rascal. I love watching this guy play. He throws the tying touchdown in the second half here on this lollipop that had me texting you, like, you got to go and look at this, man. Like, he's under pressure, and he basically throws it up like he's playing jackpot in the elementary school yard, and it just gets caught. And it was actually kind of a dime, but it just looked so funny. Like, it looked like a dead duck up in the air. Winds up being a perfect touchdown pass. He's good, I think. I don't really know. I think he's good. BYU's 8-0. Anyway, Houston 24, Arizona State 16. Houston is 7-1. Do you notice that, Richard? And now they have a pretty good win, too. Willie Fritz is doing it again.
I could not believe Arizona State just stayed at a lock stock 7-point favorite after the only player they have on offense, or at least in the passing game, was ruled out.
Yeah, that came down, by the way, like within 3 minutes of us publishing the tasting menu on Wednesday.
Yes, that was
after we talked about how important he was. Yeah.
Kansas State 42, Kansas 17. This, you go on that Wikipedia page, a lot of purple on that Wikipedia page.
It's a 17-game streak for Kansas State. That is, the streak has completed its learner's permit and can now drive without adult supervision. It's been doing it for 6 months, as a matter of fact. It goes to Chipotle with its friends.
Yeah, the streak can see a rated R movie now. Impressive stuff.
Cincinnati 41, Baylor 20. As we head into stoppage time,
obviously,
this is going to be a long one. Scott Satterfield's pulling a hell of a party trick this year. I think that everyone kind of agreed this wasn't going very well, and they've
especially at the Nebraska game,
and they've just pulled out one of the really good offenses in college football. Brendan Sorsby didn't even have a very good game here, but still, they scored 41 points against a Baylor defense that was not physically competitive from the jump. Since he walked down on them with Tawee Walker on the opening drive and basically did not relent, Baylor being unable to stop anybody, that's as fresh a development as Cincinnati being unable to be stopped.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Baylor thing is it's not confounding. They're just not good on defense. But the problem is they're not fun.
That Dave oversees such a bad defense.
Sure. The problem is they're not fun either. Like they weren't off the mat here at all. That's the real problem.
No, not a good season. Not a good season. Utah, so many. Colorado, extremely few. I actually didn't look to see the final score until right now, so I could be surprised for fun on air. Well, it seems like Whittingham let off the gas a little bit in the second half. That's
they did.
Sporting of him. Okay, 53-7, but it was 43-0 at halftime. And the manner in which it got to be 43-0 at halftime, by the way, with the backup quarterback playing for Utah, who completed less than 50% of his passes, kind of tells you what kind of physical matchup this was.
Yeah, I mean, they were running cover zero was Utah, like in the second half, up 46 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I legitimately wonder if Deion Sanders has ever lost a football game like this in his entire life.
Maybe not. Whittingham was behaving at the end of the first half like a man with two possibilities. One is he absolutely hates Deion, and two is he was mad that they lost last week and really wanted to make a point.
Probably more the latter.
I think the latter, because it seems like Whittingham and Deion actually have said nice things about each other. I was checking this, but like they sacked Salter for I think the fifth or sixth time in the first half in the last minute of the first half, up 40-0. Whittingham calls timeout. They rush the punt and block it and wind up spiking it to kick a field goal before halftime. The last time that I could find the team spiking the ball, I was looking this up with Jason for The Athletic, while up 40 points in a game, was BYU in 2019. So maybe it's a Utah thing.
The numbers here at halftime, Utah 46 plays to Colorado's 33, 396 yards to Colorado's minus 18. I mean, it was the live spread in the second half was 51.5.
Good times.
They didn't cover.
Unless you're Colorado.
Yeah, good teams win, great teams cover, right?
In the Atlantic Coast Conference, we go to Winston-Salem.
This will be the final play of the game, one way or the other. To win it from 50, the redshirt freshman from Bend, Oregon. Cobb will snap. Racanelli puts it down. Boot on the way. High enough. Long enough. Good! By a foot! By 1 foot! Connor Calvert wins it. 13-12 on the final play of the game. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
That is Stan Cotton, the Wake Forest Sports Network from Learfield. On the go and want to stay connected to live college sports anywhere in the country? Download the free Varsity Network app available on Apple and Android. With new features this season, it's easier than ever to listen live and keep up with your favorite teams. Don't miss a moment. Get the Varsity Network app. Wake Forest 13, SMU 12. Just as close, pretty much, as physically possible did this winning field goal come.
It's arguably the closest game in college football history because it was a 1-point margin. And I seriously think you should go and look at this field goal if you have not seen it. It was a 50-yard kick by Connor Calvert. It went in by the smallest amount that I think a field goal can possibly go in distance
Without doinking.
Right. Like it hit the bar that's like behind the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one that, sure, the stanchion, is that the word for it?
Something like that. Support beam. I don't know what you would say, but it was so close. Wake is 5-2, and their defense is solid. They held Georgia Tech to 30 a few weeks ago and almost beat them. And here they gave Kevin Jennings a very bad time. I think the sicko game label is very overused, but this is pretty much what it was designed for. Wake was like, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. 8 turnovers combined. It combined 7 points off of those 8 turnovers.
Well,
that's what really tells the story.
SMU did the same thing last year against Duke.
Yeah,
remember that?
Sure did. SMU made the playoff thanks to Duke bumbling over itself in that game. It was really a here you take it, no you take it kind of game. SMU only has 2 losses, but this is a drastically declined team. Like I just don't think they're very good, and I don't think you really have to worry about them as a national presence this season.
Well, the funny thing is, it's actually only their first conference loss, so they are very much still alive in the ACC race. Georgia Tech 41, Syracuse 16. I mean, Syracuse doesn't really have anything on offense. We understand that. That's been the thing since a quarterback went out. It happens. But Georgia Tech is getting into gear. I think this is noteworthy because this is teetering from on the precipice of Georgia Tech like playing with its food and getting away with it to Georgia Tech dominating games from start to finish.
They have a plan and they stick to it. It's kind of typical in this game from Buster Faulkner. Haynes King will drop back a lot. Almost half of his throws are going to be these swing screens, occasional checkdowns behind the line. They have a team-wide commitment to blocking like menaces for whoever caught the ball on that play. That's culture. That's coaching. That's good. And it works for them with all of the yards after the catch that they're able to generate. And then they just run those gap runs where they just hurl people around pulling and just throw them into people. And it's been fun to watch. I don't know how well it will work when they see Georgia or if they have to play Miami in the ACC championship game. There is a legitimate ain't played nobody thing going on with this team, but I think they're good. And they're going to have some tough ones coming up down the stretch this year, but I think they're good.
Pitt 53, NC State 34. Is Pitt good?
I'm not 100% sure, but this quarterback is good. Mason Heinchel, freshman, name you should know, probably is going to take a significant effort by Pitt's, I don't know the kid, but on Pitt's part to keep him around because he's good and people are going to notice that he's good. Des Reed hurt in this game, walking boot. That's not bueno for Pitt. NC State's defense, certainly bad enough to get a coach fired. And Pitt is going to really ruin someone's shit later this year. They close with Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami to end the regular season. Pitt's winning at least one of those games. Just noting that. Not winning all 3, so I don't think Pitt's actually going to win the ACC, but somebody is going to have their life exploded by this quarterback at the end of the year for Pitt. I think you can set your watch to it.
The Desmond Reed thing is not good, by the way.
No.
Virginia 17, UNC 16 in overtime. We must credit the great man Bill Belichick for doing what needs to be done in overtime. He just went for 2, and they were inches short. It happens, but credit to Bill Belichick and North Carolina. And by the way, North Carolina has played better the last 2 weeks. Probably should have won against Cal, as we know, and came very close to winning this game, obviously.
North Carolina
in hell in this game all day, honestly.
North Carolina has had 3 separate plays in the last 2 games where the football has been in a North Carolina player's hands well inside the 1-yard line on a 2-point conversion and on 2 plays in regulation. And in none of these instances did the ball cross the plane in the control of the North Carolina player. As a result, they lost both of them. They are getting better. It doesn't change that this is a complete train wreck long term, but they are getting better, and the players are still trying. Full credit to them for still trying. Virginia Tech 42, Cal 34, overtime on Friday. Kind of perfect, right? JKS puts on a show, but they lose.
5-2 can become 5-7. I'm telling you. I'm worried about our boy here.
Things could get tough. Louisville 38, Boston College 24. Boston College could go winless in the ACC. They had good vibes Bill O'Brien's first year. Those are gone now. I don't think it was just losing Castellanos, the quarterback, because he's not that good. Broader fall off for them this season. Louisville stays in the hunt.
There were like 6 turnovers in the second half here. Weird game. And Louisville didn't really like put the hammer down until like the very end, but they did. All right, credit. North Dakota State 38, South Dakota State 17. This was like never close.
Nope. Complete ass whipping. King stays the king. Chase Mason, the quarterback for South Dakota State, did not play. But that doesn't explain this. They just got physically dominated. You could have put Josh Allen back there,
hold
quarterback.
on. That's the wrong final score. It's 38-7.
Oh, excuse me. We'll keep it in. 38-7. Typo by me, probably. This was a complete domination. First loss in Brookings for South Dakota State since 2021 against Northern Iowa. Not trying to be too dramatic about it, but I think the FCS title race is going to be a walk. It's just going to be North Dakota State.
Careful.
Pending Montana,
but playoffs.
Pending Montana doing something surprising. This just looks like a waltz for the Bison. A stampede, if you will.
Speaking of Montana, by the way, the Pandas win 49-35 over Sac State on Friday night.
Yeah, the war of words sort of continued after the game. Bobby Hawk was displeased, said JV got it done tonight. The Sac State president had called FCS the JV level. Montana snuffed out one fake punt, ran one on them later successfully. Think they were having a pretty good time. After the game, Sacramento State was playing fireworks for their fans. Montana's official accounts noted that thank you for throwing us a fireworks show. Sac State's not very good, but they have gotten attention, and the Grizz are 8-0, so everyone gets what they want to some degree. Wyoming 28, Colorado State nothing in a border war game. Nice for Wyoming, even against an interim coach dead team. This is the first fun thing for them in a long time. So well done, Pokes.
6-1, San Diego State 23, Fresno State 0. Workman-like one in this one. Got a pick 6 as well, did San Diego State, to kind of aid the effort here.
Sean Lewis might be doing it. Might be happening. They got Boise coming in there to that new stadium in week 12. Can they beat them at least once if they get 2 tries? That would make it a pretty special season for San Diego State. Boise 24, Nevada 3 on Friday. Disgusting game, honestly. Boise was never in any danger of losing, but it was 3-3 late in the first half. Boise needed a muff punt to finally get some distance here. Maddox Madsen is not very good. The Mountain West is not very good this year, and soon it will get a facelift.
Along with our valued partners at Nokian Tires, we are coming to New York City. Well, I'm technically already here, but we are coming. The Split Zone Duo apparatus. We will be here December 6th. Championship Saturday watch party. Boise will probably be in a game that day, or did they play the Mountain West title game on Friday night sometimes? Who knows? Either way, enter for a chance to win airfare and lodging for that weekend in the Big Apple at NokianTires.com/SZD. Entering there also puts you in a monthly tire drawing for SZD listeners, which is approaching rapidly, by the way. Thanks to Nokian Tires. See you soon in New York City.
In the MAC, Wazoo 28, Toledo 7 in the pouring Eastern Washington rain. Wazoo had like 4 serious injuries keeping defensive linemen out of this game, and they've had a run of real misfortune lately on field injury-wise. Here, they got to feel some joy, and that was well-deserved. They physically dominated despite all of those injuries against Toledo. Also got their first interception of the year, first in like a 10-game period going back to last year, leaving poor FAU as the last team in FBS to not take an interception this year.
Miami 26, Western Michigan 17.
Redhawks, my preseason MAC championship pick, are indeed the lone undefeated team remaining in this conference. Working out pretty well. They restock talent when they lose guys every year, and it's working pretty well. Central Michigan 38, UMass 13. UMass is probably better than last year's Kent State team, but I'm kind of shocked that we have a team that is at least on that tier of bad so soon after seeing what might have been the worst team in modern FBS history. I mean, UMass is... We thought this was going to go a little better, if I recall.
Yeah, yes,
on the preseason. Like, they were sending the right signals about investment, and the hire made some sense. It's just, it ain't good.
This was so bad that Joe Harrisimiak, injury-wise, played scout team corner this week for UMass. It's a rough situation. Quickly, shout out to Kent State, beat Bowling Green 24-21 as well. Kent State, 3 wins on the trot for Kent State.
Nice
not on the
back.
trot, I guess. That's not really what on the trot means. It's a soccer term. Anyway.
They got to give Mark Carney that job if he wants it, right?
Yeah.
The coach.
Yeah,
I mean,
man. Like, come on. Like, who we kidding there?
Yeah, I think you got to. Old Dominion 24, App State 21 in the Sun Belt. App's just not that good this year. They made a quarterback change back to A.J. Swan in the fourth quarter. He caught fire. Wasn't quite enough. Colton Joseph, prolific passing day. Old Dominion's a pretty good team this year. App, not really. First year under a new coach. Southern Miss 49, ULM 21. Southern Miss is 4-0 in the league. Southern Miss is one of the great turnarounds in the sport this year under Charles Huff. And they are bowl eligible after winning, I believe, one game last year. So really well done by Charles Huff. The import from Marshall has worked as well as it could possibly work. Troy beats Louisiana 35-23. Troy is also undefeated in the league. And so you're going to have Southern Miss and Troy duking it out to be who's the team that plays James Madison in the Sun Belt Championship game. Southern Miss plays Troy last week of the regular season, and that will be a big one.
Western Kentucky 28, La Tech 27 in the CUSA weeknight action. Think Louisiana Tech may be dropping the rope here, by the way.
I think the Sonny Cumbia redemption arc is in some danger as we go down the stretch. Kennesaw State 45, FIU 26. Kennesaw is undefeated in the league and has a firecracker of an offense right now. 9 yards per play in this game, but a rotating quarterback situation. Amari Odom was the guy here. Jerry Mack of your Jaguars, I believe,
that's right,
is turning in a great start for Kennesaw, which was so bad last year and is definitely one of the better teams in Conference USA this year. And Delaware 31, Middle Tennessee 28. Almost a disaster at home for the Blue Hens, but they take care of business. Middle Tennessee is so bad. Delaware is not eligible for the conference championship game this year, but I think they're one of the better teams in this league. I'm bullish on their future in FBS.
All right, that's our show, obviously within 30 minutes. As usual, always a pleasure. My good friend Roger Sherman filling in for me next week. I will be at a certain football game in Jacksonville, Florida, involving those Fighting Florida Gators. If you were there, by the way, and you got a spot to tailgate, hit my line. And see you Saturday.